Maybe you should come back with your husband or whoever's supporting you. Vivian Scott felt the words hit her like ice water. 7 months pregnant, standing in the middle of Capital City Bank in Sacramento, California, she watched as every eye in that marble lobby turned toward her, not with kindness, not with help, with judgment. Her hands trembled as she gripped the counter. The papers she brought, loan documents, medical bills, proof that she was a real person deserving of basic respect, were scattered across the desk like they meant nothing, like she meant nothing. The bank manager crossed her arms. A security guard stepped closer. Someone whispered the word, fraud. That's when Vivian felt it, a sharp pain in her belly. Her baby kicked hard, as if sensing her mother's fear. She clutched her stomach, her breath catching, and that's when the glass doors opened. Before we dive into this story, tell us where you're watching from in the comment section below. And make sure you like this video and subscribe, because you don't know how this ends yet. A man walked in, tall, calm, wearing a suit that probably cost more than Vivian's rent for 3 months. He moved through the bank like he owned it. No, like he owned everything, and his eyes locked onto Vivian immediately. Travis Monroe had seen many terrible things in his life. He'd done terrible things too. But watching a pregnant woman being humiliated in public, that was something different. Nobody in that bank knew it yet, but the next 60 minutes would change everything. Not just for Vivian Scott, but for secrets buried so deep that even Travis himself didn't know he was about to uncover them. Because sometimes the universe puts you exactly where you need to be, even when you're trying to rob the place. Wait, what? You heard that right. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start with Vivian, 3 weeks before this moment, when she still believed the world might give her a fair chance. 3 weeks earlier, Vivian Scott had always been a planner. She had to be. When you grow up black in America, especially black and poor, you learn real quick that life doesn't hand you second chances. You get one shot, maybe two if you're lucky, and you better not mess it up. She sat in her tiny apartment in South Sacramento, surrounded by papers, business plans, budget sheets, dreams written down in neat handwriting, because dreams felt more real when you could see them on paper. Her bakery, Vivian's Sweet Dreams Bakery. She'd been working on it for 2 years, saving every dollar, taking online classes, perfecting recipes in her cramped kitchen until her neighbors complained about the smell of cinnamon rolls at 2 a.m. Her baby kicked, and she smiled, placed her hand on her belly. "You're going to have a mama who owns her own business," she whispered. "We're going to make it, baby. I promise." The loan approval email had come 3 days ago. $50,000. Enough to lease a small storefront, buy equipment, and open her doors. The bank just needed her to come in and finalize everything. Vivian had cried when she got that email. Happy tears, relief tears, finally tears. She didn't know yet that those tears would turn into something else entirely. Vivian woke up at 6 a.m. on the day of her bank appointment. She couldn't sleep anyway. Too excited, too nervous. She picked out her best dress, a thrift store maternity dress that was clean and pressed and made her feel, for just a moment, like she belonged in rooms where money lived. She checked her documents 12 times. Loan approval letter, photo ID, social security card, birth certificate, proof of address, bank statements, pay stubs from her job at the grocery store. Everything was perfect. Everything was ready. "You got this, Viv," she told herself in the mirror. Her reflection didn't look convinced. She took the bus downtown because her car had died 2 months ago and she couldn't afford to fix it. Sacramento morning traffic buzzed around her as she walked the 3 blocks from the bus stop to Capital City Bank. Her feet hurt. Her back hurt. Pregnancy at 7 months wasn't a joke, but she kept walking. Because that's what you do when you've got a dream and a baby depending on you. The bank building loomed ahead, glass and marble. Fancy. The kind of place that made people like Vivian feel small. She took a deep breath, checked her papers one more time, and walked through those doors. The air conditioning hit her first, then the stairs, A white woman in a business suit glanced at her belly, then away quickly. An older man with silver hair looked her up and down, his expression unreadable. The security guard watched her walk to the customer service desk. Vivian ignored them all. She'd learned to ignore stares a long time ago. "Hi," she said to the woman behind the desk, her voice soft but steady. "I have a 10 a.m. appointment. Vivian Scott. I'm here to finalize my small business loan." The woman, her name tag said Jennifer, didn't smile. She typed something into her computer, frowning. "Let me get someone to help you." Vivian waited. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 15. Other customers came and went. They were helped immediately. A man in a polo shirt. 2 women chatting about their vacation. An older couple asking about retirement accounts. Vivian kept waiting. Finally, a manager approached. A thin white woman named Susan Bartlett, according to her badge. She had the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Miss Scott, follow me, please." They sat at a desk in the middle of the lobby, not a private office, right there where everyone could see and hear everything. Susan took Vivian's folder and started flipping through the documents. Her frown deepened with every page. "What is this for?" Susan asked, her voice sharp. "My business loan," Vivian said patiently. "I was approved online. The email said I just need to come in and—" "These documents," Susan interrupted, holding up Vivian's bank statements. "Where did you get these?" Vivian blinked. "From my bank account?" "Are you sure these are legitimate?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Vivian felt her stomach drop. "Excuse me?" Susan leaned back, crossing her arms. "We've been having issues with fraud lately. I need to verify that these documents are actually yours." "They are mine," Vivian said, her voice rising slightly. "My name is on every page. My social security number. Everything. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to calm down." "I am calm," Vivian said, but her hands were shaking now. "I just don't understand why you're treating me like a criminal." Other customers were staring now. Openly, the whisper started. Susan called over another employee. Then another. 3 bank workers now, all standing around Vivian like she was a suspect in a crime. "Can someone else verify your identity?" One of them asked. "Can you provide additional proof of income? Do you have a cosigner? Maybe you should come back with your husband or whoever's supporting you." That last one came from Jennifer, the woman at the front desk. She said it loud enough for half the lobby to hear. The room went silent. Vivian stared at her, at all of them. She felt tears building behind her eyes, hot and angry and ashamed. She'd done everything right, every single thing. And it still wasn't enough to... IT would never be enough. Not for people like her. Not in places like this. She started gathering her papers with shaking hands. I'll come back another time." "Ma'am, you need to leave those documents here while we verify." "These are mine," Vivian said, her voice cracking. She clutched the folder to her chest. "You don't get to keep them." The security guard took a step forward. That's when the pain hit. Sharp, sudden, right across her belly. Vivian gasped, doubling over, one hand on the desk, the other on her stomach. The baby. Something was wrong with the baby. "Ma'am." Susan's voice changed, tinged with worry now. "Ma'am, are you okay?" Vivian couldn't answer. The pain was too much. She felt tears streaming down her face. Fear tears, not anger tears anymore. "Please, baby. Please be okay." And that's when she heard it. The sound of footsteps. Slow, deliberate, expensive shoes on marble floors. A voice, deep and calm, cut through the chaos. "I think that's enough." Vivian looked up through her tears. A man stood there, tall and powerful, dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her entire wardrobe. His skin was light brown, his eyes dark and unreadable, his presence so commanding that everyone in the bank seemed to freeze. Travis Monroe had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. Travis Monroe was not supposed to be at Capital City Bank that day. He was supposed to be 3 blocks away, having coffee. reading the newspaper, being anywhere but involved in someone else's drama. But life has a funny way of changing plans. He'd been walking past a bank when he saw her through the glass. A pregnant black woman, standing at a desk, surrounded by bank employees like she was on trial. He saw the way they looked at her, the way she held her papers like they were a shield. Travis had seen that look before, many times. Usually in a mirror. He'd kept walking. Not your problem. Travis, stay out of it. But something made him stop. Maybe it was the way she clutched her belly. Maybe it was a memory of his own mother, pregnant and poor, being treated like trash by people who thought they were better than her. Or maybe it was the universe telling him that today, just this once, he needed to do something right. So he turned around, pushed open those glass doors, and walked into a situation that was about to get very, very complicated. "I think that's enough," he said, his voice low but clear. Every head in the lobby turned toward him. Susan Bartlett, the bank manager, straightened up. "Sir, this is a private matter. If you're not a customer—" "I am a customer," Travis said smoothly, "and I'm witnessing what looks like discrimination." The word hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Susan's face went pale. "We are absolutely not." "Then why is this woman being treated like a criminal?" Travis asked. He moved closer, his presence forcing the employees to step back. "She has documents. She has an appointment. What exactly is the problem?" Vivian looked up at him, her eyes wide with pain and confusion. I don't need help. I can handle." "Ma'am," Travis said, his voice gentler now. "With respect, you shouldn't have to handle this alone." He turned back to Susan. "Get your branch manager. Now." "I am the branch. The senior branch manager. The one who's going to explain to me why a pregnant woman is being interrogated in the middle of your lobby instead of being given a chair and a glass of water." Susan hesitated. Then she nodded to Jennifer. "Get Mr. Harrison." While they waited, Travis did something that surprised everyone. He pulled out a chair from a nearby desk and brought it to Vivian. "Please, sit down," he said. "You're in pain. You need to rest." Vivian wanted to refuse, wanted to stay standing, stay strong. But another wave of pain hit her belly, and she sank into the chair gratefully. "Thank you," she whispered. Travis nodded. Then he did something else that made everyone in the bank very, very nervous. He pulled out his phone and started recording. "What are you doing?" Susan demanded. "Documenting." Travis said calmly, "Just in case this becomes a legal matter. You understand." The color drained from Susan's face completely. 3 minutes later, a man in his 50s hurried out from the back offices. Richard Harrison, senior branch manager, looked like he'd just been pulled out of an important meeting. He looked at the scene, Vivian sitting down, Travis recording, half the lobby watching, and his expression turned very, very concerned. "What's going on here?" he asked. Travis spoke first. "This woman came in for a pre-approved loan appointment. Instead of being helped, she's been questioned, doubted, and humiliated. I'd like to know why." Richard looked at Susan. "Is this true?" "We were just following protocol," Susan said quickly. "Verifying documents. We have to be careful about fraud. Did you ask any of your other customers for additional verification today?" Travis asked. Silence. "Did you make anyone else wait 30 minutes?" More silence. "Did you tell anyone else to bring their husband?" Susan's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Richard Harrison was no fool. He'd been in banking for 30 years. He knew exactly what was happening here, and he knew exactly how bad this could get if it wasn't fixed immediately. "Ms. Scott," he said, turning to Vivian with concerned expression, "I am deeply sorry for what's happened here today. This is absolutely not how we treat our customers. Would you please come with me in my office? We'll get this sorted out right away." Vivian looked at Travis. He gave her a small nod of encouragement. "Okay," she said quietly. She stood up slowly, still clutching her belly. Richard offered his arm to help her, but she waved him off. She could walk on her own. As she passed Travis, she paused. "Thank you," she said. "I don't know why you helped me, but thank you." Travis smiled. It was a sad smile, a smile that carried weight. Sometimes we all need someone in our corner. Vivian nodded and followed Richard to his office. Travis watched her go. Then he turned back to Susan Bartlett, Jennifer, and the security guard who'd been ready to throw a pregnant woman out of a bank. "I want your names," he said. "All of you." They gave them. Reluctantly, nervously, Travis added them to his phone recording. Then he stopped the video and slipped his phone back into his pocket. "If that woman's loan doesn't go through," he said quietly, "if there's even one more delay, one more verification, one more hoop she has to jump through, I will make sure this video ends up everywhere. The news, social media, corporate headquarters, everywhere." He let that sink in for a moment. "Do we understand each other?" Susan nodded quickly. "Yes. Yes, sir." "Good." Travis turned to leave. He'd done what he came to do. Time to disappear before anyone started asking the wrong questions. But as he reached the door, something made him pause. Through the glass window of Richard Harrison's office, he could see Vivian sitting down, holding her belly, talking to the branch manager. She looked tired. So tired. And Travis Monroe, a man who'd spent his entire adult life taking things that didn't belong to him, made a decision. He was going to make sure Vivian Scott got what she deserved, even if it meant staying longer than was safe, even if it meant risking everything. Because here's the thing nobody in that bank knew yet. Travis Monroe wasn't just any customer. He wasn't just some good Samaritan who happened to walk by. He was one of the most wanted criminals in Northern California. And he'd been watching Capital City Bank for 3 weeks, learning its patterns, studying its security, planning every detail of what should have been the perfect robbery. Today was supposed to be his final scouting trip before the job tomorrow night. Instead, he just put himself directly in the spotlight of security cameras, witnesses, and now a senior bank manager who might start asking questions. Stupid, Travis. This is so stupid. But he couldn't leave. Not yet. Not until he knew Vivian was okay. So he sat down in the lobby, picked up a magazine he had no intention of reading, and waited. 20 minutes passed. Then 30. Travis watched the door to Richard Harrison's office. Other customers came and went. Susan Bartlett avoided looking at him. The security guard kept a careful distance. Finally, the office door opened. Vivian walked out. She was crying. Oh no. Travis stood up immediately, ready to raise hell if they denied her loan after everything. But then he saw her face. She was smiling, crying and smiling at the same time. Happy tears. Richard Harrison walked beside her, holding a folder of papers. "Everything is finalized," he was saying. "The money will be in your account within 48 hours. And again, Miss Scott, I cannot apologize enough for what happened earlier." Vivian wiped her eyes. Thank you so much." She turned and saw Travis still there, waiting. Her smile widened. She walked over to him, moving slowly, carefully. "You stayed," she said, sounding surprised. "Wanted to make sure you were okay," Travis replied. "I got it," Vivian said, her voice full of wonder. "I got the loan. My bakery, it's really going to happen." Travis felt something unfamiliar in his chest. Something warm. Pride? For a stranger? "Congratulations," he said, and he meant it. Vivian held out her hand. "I'm Vivian Scott." Travis hesitated for just a second. Names were dangerous. Names could be traced. But he shook her hand anyway. "Travis Monroe." "Well, Travis Monroe, I owe you everything. If you hadn't walked in when you did, you would have figured it out," Travis said. "You're tougher than you think." Vivian laughed. "I don't feel tough right now. I feel exhausted. You need to get home. Rest. Take care of that baby." "I will." She paused. Can I give you my number? I'd like to thank you properly. Maybe bring you some food or something when the bakery opens." "Say no, Travis. Walk away. Don't get involved." "Sure," he said, pulling out his phone. "I'd like that." They exchanged numbers. Vivian saved his contact under Travis, my hero. If she only knew. "I should go," Vivian said. "Bus comes in 10 minutes." "You're taking the bus? In your condition?" "Car's broken. Vivian said with a shrug. It's fine. Only 3 transfers. 3 transfers. Pregnant. After stress and pain. Travis made another stupid decision. Let me give you a ride, he said. Oh, I couldn't. You can. You should. Please. Vivian looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay, thank you. They walked out of the bank together. Neither of them noticed a black sedan parked across the street. Neither of them saw the man in sunglasses sitting in the driver's seat, watching them through tinted windows, speaking into a phone. Neither of them knew that in that moment, 2 separate worlds were about to collide in ways that would change everything. Because Travis Monroe's past was about to catch up with him, and Vivian Scott's future was about to become a lot more complicated. The story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. Because what happens next will make you question everything you think you know about heroes and villains, right and wrong, justice and revenge. Keep reading. You won't believe what happens next. Travis's car was not what Vivian expected. She'd pictured something flashy, something expensive and intimidating, like the man himself. A Mercedes maybe, or a BMW with tinted windows and leather seats. Instead, he led her to a Honda Accord, silver, about 5 years old, completely ordinary. This is yours, she asked, surprised. Travis smiled slightly. Disappointed? No, just, you seem like the kind of man who drives something fancier. I like being underestimated, Travis said, opening the passenger door for her. It's useful. Vivian settled into the seat carefully, adjusting the seatbelt over her belly. The car was clean, almost too clean. It even smelled new, despite being older. Travis got on the driver's side and started the engine. Where to? Vivian gave him her address. South Sacramento. He knew the area. Working-class neighborhood. Good people trying to get by. The kind of neighborhood where everyone knew everyone else's business, which was exactly why Travis usually stayed far away from places like that. But today wasn't about being smart. Today was about something else. They drove in comfortable silence for the first few minutes. Sacramento traffic hummed around them. Cars honking, construction noise, the city living its life. Can I ask you something? Vivian said finally. Sure. Why did you help me back there? You don't know me. You didn't have to get involved. Travis kept his eyes on the road. This was a question he'd been avoiding thinking about, because he didn't have a good answer. I saw something wrong happening, he said carefully. I couldn't walk away. Most people would have, Vivian said. Most people did. That whole bank just watched them treat me like dirt. Then most people are cowards. Vivian was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Are you always this intense? Travis laughed. A real laugh, surprising himself. Yeah, probably. Sorry. Don't apologize. Intense is good. Intense means you care. If you only knew what I care about, you wouldn't be in this car. They stopped at a red light. Travis glanced over at her. She had her hand on her belly again, rubbing slow circles, a gesture he'd noticed she did unconsciously. Boy or girl, he asked. Girl, Vivian said, her face lighting up. I'm naming her Hope. That's a good name. I figured the world's already full of enough fear and anger. Maybe one more person named Hope might make a difference. She paused. That probably sounds naive. No, Travis said quietly. It sounds brave. The light turned green. They drove on. What about you? Vivian asked. You married? Kids? No to both. Family? Not anymore. There was something in his voice that made Vivian drop that line of questioning immediately. She recognized that tone. The sound of old wounds that never quite healed. The bakery, Travis said, changing the subject. How long have you been planning it? Vivian's face brightened again. 2 years. I've been working at Martin's Grocery, saving every penny, taking online business courses at night, perfecting recipes. I make these cinnamon rolls that people say are life-changing. She laughed. I don't know about life-changing, but they're pretty good. I'm sure they are. When I was a little girl, my grandmother used to bake, Vivian continued. Pies, cakes, cookies, everything. Our house always smelled like sugar and butter. She taught me that food isn't just food. It's love. It's comfort. It's home. Travis listened, surprising himself again. He couldn't remember the last time he just listened to someone talk about their dreams without calculating how to use that information. She passed away when I was 16, Vivian said softly, but I still have all her recipes, written in her handwriting on these old index cards. That's what I'm going to use in my bakery. Her recipes, her love. She'd be proud of you, Travis said. Vivian wiped her eyes. I hope so. I really hope so. They turned onto Vivian Street. Small houses, neatly kept. Kids playing basketball in a driveway. An older man watering his lawn. Normal life. The kind of life Travis had left behind a long time ago. That one, Vivian said, pointing to a small house with blue shutters. The one with the flowers in the window. Travis pulled up to the curb and put the car in park. Vivian reached for the door handle, then stopped. Travis, I don't know how to thank you enough. What you did today. You don't need to thank me, Travis said. Just promise me something. What? When that bakery opens, don't let anyone make you doubt yourself again. You belong. Your business belongs. Your dreams belong. Don't forget that. Vivian stared at him for a long moment. Then she leaned over and hugged him, awkwardly because of her belly, but genuine. You're a good man, Travis Monroe, she whispered. I don't care what anyone says. Travis froze. What do you mean? Vivian pulled back, laughing. Nothing, just that you look tough and scary, but you're actually a big softy. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. She got out of the car, waved goodbye, and walked up to her front door. Travis watched her unlock it and go inside safely. Then he sat there for a moment, hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. You're a good man. When was the last time someone had called him that? When was the last time it had been true? He was about to drive away when his phone rang. Unknown number. Travis's blood went cold. Nobody had this number. This was his clean phone, his civilian phone, the one that wasn't supposed to connect to any part of his real life. He answered carefully. Hello, Travis Monroe. The voice was smooth, amused. Or should I call you by one of your other names? You have so many these days. Travis's jaw tightened. He knew that voice. Marco. The one and only. How's retirement treating you? Wait, don't answer that. I can see for myself. See? Travis's eyes immediately went to his mirrors, scanning the street. Nothing suspicious. No cars that didn't belong. No one watching. What do you want? Travis asked. What I've always wanted. A conversation. Face to face. Not interested. Oh, I think you are. See, I've been watching you. Travis. Watching your little scouting trips to Capital City Bank. Very thorough work, by the way. Cameras, guards, schedules. You always were meticulous. Travis felt his heart start to race. How long had Marco been watching? How much did he know? I don't know what you're talking about, Travis said evenly. Marco laughed. Please, don't insult me. You're planning a job. A big one, from the looks of it. And I want in. I work alone now. Not anymore, you don't. Unless you want me to make a phone call. Sacramento Police Department would love to know about your plans. Or maybe I should call the FBI. They've been looking for you for 3 years now? Travis closed his eyes. This was bad. Very bad. What do you want, Marco? Like I said, a conversation. Tonight, 9 p.m. The warehouse on Palmer Avenue. You remember it, don't you? Where we used to do business. I remember. Good. Come alone. We'll discuss terms. And Travis, Marco's voice turned cold. Don't even think about running. I've got eyes everywhere, including on your new friend. The line went dead. Travis sat there, his mind racing. Marco had been watching, which meant Marco knew about Vivian, which meant Vivian was now in danger because of him. Stupid. So incredibly stupid. He'd broken every rule, let his guard down, got involved with a civilian, And now that civilian was a target. Travis looked at Vivian's house. The lights were on inside. He could see her shadow moving past the window. Safe, for now. But if Marco wanted leverage, if Marco wanted to control Travis, Vivian was the perfect tool. Innocent, pregnant, connected to him. Travis pulled out his phone and looked at Vivian's number. He should call her, warn her, tell her to leave town, hide, disappear until this was over. But how could he explain without revealing who he really was? What he really was? A thief, a criminal, the kind of man who ruins lives. He put the phone down, made a different decision. He was going to that meeting tonight. He was going to deal with Marco, and he was going to make sure Vivian never found out any of this. She deserved her dreams, her bakery, her daughter named Hope. She deserved better than him dragging her into his nightmare. Travis started the car and drove away, his mind already planning for a conversation that could end in violence. He didn't see the curtain move in Vivian's window, didn't see her watching him drive away, a concerned look on her face. Because Vivian Scott might have been pregnant and exhausted and overwhelmed, but she wasn't stupid. Something about Travis Monroe didn't add up. The expensive suit with the ordinary car, the way he moved like a predator trying to look harmless, the phone call he'd gotten that made his entire body tense. Vivian had survived this long by trusting her instincts, and her instincts were screaming that Travis was in trouble. Big trouble. The kind that could swallow him whole if someone didn't help. She picked up her phone and did something she probably shouldn't have. She sent him a text. If you need help with anything, I'm here. You saved me today. Let me return the favor. Then she added, and be careful. Whatever you're dealing with, be careful. She hit send before she could second-guess herself. 3 blocks away, Travis's phone buzzed. He glanced at the message and felt that unfamiliar warmth in his chest again. You're a good man, Travis Monroe. He wasn't. But maybe just for today he could try to be. The Palmer Avenue warehouse sat on the edge of Sacramento's industrial district, where honest businesses ended and shadowy operations began. During the day, truck drivers and forklift operators worked nearby, moving legitimate cargo, living legitimate lives. At night, the area belonged to people like Marco, and people like Travis used to be. Travis arrived at 8:55 p.m., 5 minutes early, not because he was eager, but because arriving first meant controlling the space, knowing the exits, checking for traps, old habits. The warehouse door was unlocked. Exactly as expected, Travis pushed it open slowly, every sense alert. Inside, the space was exactly as he remembered, empty except for old shipping crates, exposed pipes overhead, and the smell of oil and dust. One bare light bulb hung from the ceiling, casting harsh shadows. Marco sat in a metal chair in the center of the room, relaxed, confident. He wore an expensive designer tracksuit and gold chains that probably cost more than most people's cars. 2 bodyguards flanked him, big men with dead eyes and bulges under their jackets that meant guns. Travis. Marco spread his arms wide, like they were old friends, right on time. I love that about you. Always professional. Travis stopped 10 feet away, close enough to talk, far enough to react if things went bad. What do you want, Marco? Marco smiled. Straight to business. No, how have you been? No catching up. I stopped catching up with snakes a long time ago. Marco's smile never wavered. Ouch! That hurts, Travis. Really, after everything we've been through together, we robbed 3 banks together 8 years ago. Then you tried to cut me out of my share and blamed a murder on me. I wouldn't exactly call that going through things together. Ancient history, Marco said, waving his hand dismissively. I'm a changed man now. Older, wiser, more forgiving. Forgiving? Travis laughed without humor. You threatened an innocent pregnant woman to get me here. Did I? Marco looked genuinely confused. I don't recall mentioning any pregnant women. You said you had eyes on my new friend. Oh, that? Marco nodded. Yes, the lovely Vivian Scott, 28 years old, lives at 847 Maple Street, works at Martin's Grocery, 7 months pregnant with a daughter. Single mother. No family except an aunt in Texas. Planning to open a bakery called Vivian's Sweet Dreams. Each detail felt like a punch. "You've been thorough," Travis said, keeping his voice steady. "I'm always thorough. It's why I'm still breathing while so many others aren't." Marco leaned forward. "She seems nice, Travis. Sweet. Innocent. The kind of person who actually believes in happy endings. Leave her out of this." "Oh!" "But she's already in it. The moment you played hero at that bank, you made her part of your world, whether you like it or not." Travis's hands clenched into fists. "What do you want?" Marco stood up, stretching like a cat. "Capital City Bank. You're going to rob it tomorrow night, and I'm going to help you." "I don't need help." "Yes, you do, because the job you're planning, it's not going to work." Travis stayed silent, calculating. Marco walked closer, his shoes clicking on the concrete floor. "See, what you don't know is that Capital City Bank is under investigation. FBI, they've been watching it for 6 weeks. Money laundering for a Mexican cartel. The bank's dirty, Travis. Very dirty." "How do you know that?" Marco tapped his nose. "I have friends in low places. The point is, there are federal agents watching that bank right now. Cameras you don't know about. Undercover agents. The whole works. You walk in there tomorrow night. You're walking into a trap." Travis felt his stomach drop. Could Marco be lying? Maybe. Probably. But what if he wasn't? "So here's what's going to happen," Marco continued. "You're going to call off your little solo operation, and you're going to help me with something much more valuable. I'm retired. Nobody retires from our line of work. Travis, you know that. You either die or you get caught. Those are the only exits. Then I guess I'm the exception." Marco stopped walking. His smile faded. "You think you can just walk away? Start a new life? Maybe play hero for pretty pregnant ladies?" "I can try." "No, you can't, because I'm not going to let you." The bodyguard shifted, hands moving toward their weapons. Travis didn't move. "If you wanted me dead, you would have killed me already. So what do you really want?" Marco's smile returned, but it was colder now. "I want what's in that bank's vault, but not the money. There's something else. Documents, files, evidence about certain business operations, evidence that could put a lot of powerful people in prison, evidence that I could sell for more money than you, or I could rob in 10 lifetimes. And you need me because you're the best safecracker in California, the best I've ever seen. That vault is state-of-the-art. 6-inch steel, electronic locks, biometric scanners. Nobody else can open it quietly. Nobody but you." Travis shook his head. "Find someone else." "There is no one else." Marco's voice rose for the first time, showing frustration. "I've looked. Every professional in the game is either dead, in prison, or retired to countries without extradition. You're the only option. Then you're out of luck." Marco laughed. "You still don't get it, do you? Let me make this crystal clear." He pulled out his phone, tapped the screen, and showed it to Travis. It was a live video feed of Vivian's house. Her living room window, the lights on inside, her shadow moving past the curtains. "I have 3 men watching her right now," Marco said softly. "One phone call from me, and they go inside. They take her somewhere quiet. Somewhere you'll never find her." And then, he didn't need to finish the sentence. Travis felt rage boiling up inside him. Pure, hot rage. The kind that made men do stupid, violent things. But he forced it down, forced himself to think. "You hurt her and I'll kill you," Travis said quietly. "Not quickly, not cleanly. I'll make it last." "I believe you," Marco said, put his phone away. "Which is why I won't hurt her. As long as you cooperate. One job, Travis. One perfect job. We get those files, we sell them, we split the money, and then you never hear from me again. You can go back to playing Boy Scout. Save all the pregnant ladies you want. I don't care. And if I say no, then Vivian Scott and her unborn daughter disappear tonight, and it'll be your fault. You brought this into her life. You made her a target. Travis felt something break inside him. Because Marco was right. This was his fault. All of it. He should never have walked into that bank. Should never have helped Vivian. Should never have given her his real name and phone number. But he had. And now an innocent woman and her baby were paying the price for his moment of weakness. When Travis asked, his voice dead, Marco's smile widened. That's my boy. Tomorrow night, 2 a.m. Banks close, minimal security. We go in, you crack the vault, we take the files, we leave. Clean and simple. Nothing's ever clean and simple. This will be, I promise. Travis knew that was a lie. Marco's promises were worth less than nothing. But what choice did he have? Fine, Travis said. But if you touch her, if your men so much as breathe near her, the deal's off and you're a dead man. Understood. Now let's talk details. For the next hour, they planned. Marco had blueprints of the bank, security schedules, everything. It was professional, almost impressive. But Travis's mind wasn't fully on the planning. He was thinking about Vivian, about Hope, about two people who deserved better than this. And he was thinking about what he had to do. Because Travis Monroe had been a lot of things in his life. A thief, a criminal, a liar. But one thing he'd never been was a coward. And he wasn't about to start now. 11:47 p.m. Travis sat in his car 3 blocks from Vivian's house, watching Marco's surveillance team. 2 men in a dark SUV. Another one on foot, pretending to smoke a cigarette on the corner. They were professionals, but not as good as they thought they were. Travis made a phone call, not to Marco, to someone else. Someone he'd sworn he'd never contact again. The phone rang 3 times. This is Detective Sarah Chun. Travis hadn't heard that voice in 3 years. Not since she'd almost caught him during the Oakland job. Not since she'd promised to hunt him until the end of time if he ever hurt another innocent person. Detective Chun, Travis said, this is Travis Monroe, and I need to turn myself in. There was a long silence on the other end. Is this a joke? Chun finally asked. No joke, but I need you to do something first. There's a woman in danger. Her name is Vivian Scott. She lives at 847 Maple Street in South Sacramento. There are 3 armed men watching her house right now, and they're planning to kidnap her tonight. How do you know this? Because they're working for Marco DeLuca. And Marco is trying to force me into robbing Capital City Bank tomorrow night. Another silence. Travis could practically hear Chen's mind working, fitting pieces together. Why should I believe you? She asked. Because in 3 years of chasing me, have I ever lied to you? No, Chen admitted. You've been infuriatingly honest. Then believe me now. Vivian Scott is innocent. She's 7 months pregnant. She doesn't know anything about who I really am. She's in danger because I made a mistake. Please, save her first. Then you can arrest me. I'll tell you everything. Where I've been. What I've done. All of it. Where are you now? 3 blocks from her house. Watching Marco's men. Stay there. I'm sending units now. 20 minutes. You don't have 20 minutes, Travis said, looking at his watch. Marco had said the men would move at midnight if Travis didn't report back. You have 13. Then we'll be there in 12. Travis? Yeah. Don't do anything stupid. Travis almost laughed. Too late for that. He hung up and got out his car. Because he couldn't wait 12 minutes. Marco's men were already moving, heading toward Vivian's front door. Time was up. Travis pulled out the gun he'd sworn he'd never use again and started walking. Inside Vivian's house, 11:52 p.m. Vivian couldn't sleep. She'd been trying for 2 hours, but her mind kept going back to Travis. The look on his face when he got that phone call. The way he'd gripped the steering wheel like he was holding on to something slipping away. Be careful, she'd texted him. Whatever you're dealing with, be careful. He hadn't responded. Vivian sat up in bed, rubbing her belly. Your mama's worried about someone she barely knows, she whispered to Hope. Probably silly, right? Hope kicked. A strong kick. Almost like she was agreeing. That's when Vivian heard it. A sound. Quiet. At her front door. Someone was trying to pick the lock. Vivian's blood went cold. She moved as quickly as her pregnant body would allow, grabbing her phone from the nightstand. She dialed 911, her hands shaking. 911, what's your emergency? Someone's trying to break into my house, Vivian whispered. Ma'am, I need your address. The front door opened. Vivian screamed. Outside, 11:53 p.m. Travis saw the door open, and his body moved on instinct. He crossed the distance in seconds, his gun out, his training taking over. Marco's man was halfway through Vivian's door when Travis grabbed him from behind, one arm around his throat, gun pressed to his temple. Police! Travis shouted. A lie, but an effective one. On the ground. Now! The man struggled. Travis hit him hard with the gun. He went down. The other two men came running. Travis shot once, not to kill, but to warn. The bullet hit pavement, sending up sparks. FBI! Travis shouted. Another lie. Drop your weapons. One man ran. Smart. The other raised his gun. Stupid. Travis shot him in the shoulder. Non-fatal. He'd learned precision a long time ago. The man went down screaming. Sirens. Finally. Getting closer. Travis ran to Vivian's open door. She was standing in the hallway, phone in hand, eyes wide with terror. Travis, she gasped. What's happening? You're safe, he said. Police are coming. You're safe now. Those men, they tried to... I know, but they can't hurt you now. Vivian stared at him, at the gun in his hand, at the man groaning on her lawn. Who are you? She whispered. What are you? Travis heard the police cars screeching to a stop outside. Heard doors slamming, boots running. This was it, the end of the road. The moment where everything caught up with him. I'm sorry, he said to Vivian, for all of it. Then he dropped his gun, raised his hands, and walked outside to meet his fate. You think you know how this story ends? You don't. Not even close. The biggest twist is still coming. The truth about why Travis was really at that bank. The secret that connects him to Vivian in ways neither of them understand. 3 hours later, Sacramento police station. Travis sat in an interrogation room, handcuffed to a table, waiting. He'd been read his rights. Fingerprinted. Photographed. The whole process. He cooperated with everything. Answered every question honestly except one. Why had he really been at Capital City Bank that day? Because that answer was complicated. The door opened. Detective Sarachin walked in, carrying a thick folder and 2 cups of coffee. She set one in front of Travis, then sat down across from him. You take it, Black, if I remember correctly, she said. You have a good memory. I have to in my line of work. She opened the folder. Travis Monroe. Real name, Travis Michael Carter. Born in Oakland. Mother died when you were 12. Father was never in the picture. Foster care until 18. Then she flipped through pages. Then you disappeared. No job, no apartment, no paper trail. Until 3 years ago when we connected you to a series of high-end robberies across California. Travis said nothing. You were good, Chin continued. Very good. Never hurt anyone. Never violent. Just precise. Professional. The kind of thief that insurance companies hate because they can't figure out how you did it. Is there a question coming? Chin leaned back. Here's what I don't understand. You've been clean for 6 months. Living in San Jose under a fake identity. Working as a mechanic. Quiet life. No red flags. Then suddenly you're in Sacramento. Scouting banks again. Why? Travis stared at his coffee. I needed money. For what? Does it matter? It might. Travis was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I need you to check on Vivian. Make sure she's okay. Make sure Marco's people don't. Vivian Scott is fine, Chin interrupted. She's at Sacramento Medical Center, getting checked out. Baby's fine, too. We have officers with her. Travis felt relief wash over him. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We picked up Marco DeLuca an hour ago. He's in a room just like this one, singing like a canary, trying to cut a deal, blaming everything on you. Of course he is. But here's the interesting part. Chin pulled out a photo and slid it across the table. Marco had this in his car. Want to tell me what it is? Travis looked at the photo. His breath caught. It was an old picture, faded, worn, a young woman holding a baby. The woman was smiling, tired but happy. The baby was wrapped in a yellow blanket. Travis knew that photo. He'd carried one just like it for 28 years. That's my mother, he said quietly. And me, I was 3 days old. Look at the back. Travis turned the photo over. Written in faded ink, Victoria Carter and baby Travis. April 15th, 1997. God bless our family. And underneath, in different handwriting, newer, find him. Where did Marco get this? Travis asked, his voice shaking. That's what I was hoping you'd tell me, Chin said. Because according to our investigation, Marco didn't steal this. It was given to him by a woman named Patricia Mitchell. Does that name mean anything to you? Travis's world tilted. Patricia Mitchell, his mother's best friend. The woman who'd been like an aunt to him before his mother died. The woman who disappeared after the funeral, and Travis had never seen her again. Why would Patricia give this to Marco? Travis whispered. Because, Chin said slowly, Patricia Mitchell is Vivian Scott's aunt, her only living family. The room went silent. Travis felt like he'd been punched in the chest. What? Chin pulled out another document. Patricia Mitchell, age 62, lives in Austin, Texas. Vivian mentions her in her loan application as an emergency contact. We called her when Vivian was brought to the hospital. She's on her way here now. I don't understand, Travis said. Why would Patricia? How is this connected? That's what we're trying to figure out. But Travis, here's the really strange part. Chin leaned forward. Capital City Bank? The one you were planning to rob? It's owned by Mitchell Holdings. Patricia Mitchell's late husband was the founder. She inherited everything when he died 5 years ago. Travis's mind was spinning. Nothing made sense. There's more, Chin continued. When Vivian applied for a business loan, it was personally approved by Patricia Mitchell, not by the bank's loan department, by Patricia directly. She's been quietly funding Vivian's dream without Vivian even knowing. Why? Because Vivian is her niece. But also, Chin hesitated. Because Patricia made a promise to someone 28 years ago. A promise to watch over 2 babies. To keep them safe. To give them chances in life. 2 babies. Travis felt his heartbeat in his ears. Chin pushed another document across the table. A birth certificate. 2 birth certificates. Actually, twins. Travis Michael Carter. Born April 15th, 1997. Vivian Hope Carter. Born April 15th, 1997. No, Travis breathed. That's not possible. Your mother had twins, Chin said gently. You and Vivian. But she was sick, dying. She knew she couldn't take care of both of you. So she made a choice. A terrible, impossible choice. She kept you, and she gave Vivian to Patricia Mitchell to raise. Travis couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The woman you helped at the bank, Chin continued. The woman you risked everything to protect. She's your twin sister, Travis. You've been connected your whole lives without knowing it. Travis walked into the hospital room slowly, still handcuffed but accompanied by Detective Chun. Vivian was sitting up in bed, one hand on her belly, looking exhausted but okay. When she saw Travis, her eyes went wide. Travis? What are you doing here? Are you okay? Those men. I'm fine, Travis said. His voice sounded strange to his own ears. Are you? The baby's okay. We're both okay. Thanks to you. She paused, looking at the handcuffs. Why are you? What's going on? Chin stepped forward. Ms. Scott, we need to talk to you about something important. For the next 20 minutes, Chin explained everything. The connection between Travis and Vivian. Patricia Mitchell's secret. The truth about their birth. Vivian listened in stunned silence, tears streaming down her face. When Chin finished, Vivian looked at Travis. "You're my brother?" she whispered. "Apparently," Travis said. He didn't know what else to say. "We're twins." "Yeah." Vivian started crying harder. Not sad tears. Something else. Relief? Joy? Confusion? All of it mixed together. "I always felt alone," she said through tears. "My whole life. Even with Aunt Patricia. I felt like something was missing. Like there was a hole inside me I couldn't explain." Travis knew exactly what she meant. He'd felt it too. "Come here," Vivian said, holding out her arms. Chin unlocked one of Travis's handcuffs. He moved forward carefully, awkwardly, and Vivian hugged him, really hugged him, like she was trying to make up for 28 years of missing him in one moment. "You saved me today," she whispered. "Twice. You didn't even know we were family, but you saved me anyway." "You called me a good man," Travis said, his voice breaking. "Nobody's called me that in I can't remember how long. Because you are. I don't care what you've done. I don't care about any of that. You're my brother. And you're good." Travis felt something he hadn't felt in years. Maybe ever. Hope. 6 months later. The grand opening of Vivian's Sweet Dreams Bakery was packed. Friends. Neighbors. Random people who'd heard about the story. The pregnant woman humiliated at a bank, saved by a mysterious man who turned out to be her long-lost twin brother. The media had eaten it up. Vivian had been on 3 talk shows. She'd used the attention to promote her business. Smart. Travis stood in the corner, wearing his mechanic's clothes, his real job now legitimately, holding a sleeping baby. Hope Elizabeth Scott Carter. 2 months old. Perfect. She had her mother's eyes and her uncle's stubborn chin. "You're a natural," Patricia Mitchell said, appearing beside him. She'd aged well, Travis thought. Still looked like the woman he remembered from childhood, just with more gray hair. "I'm terrified I'm going to drop her," Travis admitted. Patricia laughed. "You won't. You've got good instincts. Always have." They'd talked a lot over the past 6 months. About his mother. About the choice she'd made. About the guilt Patricia had carried for decades, watching Travis disappear into foster care while she raised Vivian in comfort. "She didn't want to split you up," Patricia said quietly. "Your mother, Victoria. She fought it until the very end. But she was dying, and she had no money, no family, no way to give you both a good life. So she asked me to take Vivian, just until she got better. But she never got better." "I know," Travis said. He'd made peace with it. "Mostly. She loved you both," Patricia continued. "So much. Every day. She'd hold you and cry, wondering if she'd made the right choice. Wondering if you'd ever know each other. If you'd ever be a family." Travis looked down at Hope. "We're a family now." "Yes, you are." Across the room, Vivian was laughing with customers, showing off her grandmother's cinnamon rolls, life-changing, just like she promised, glowing with happiness. She caught Travis's eye and smiled. A real smile. The kind that said, "We made it." Detective Chin appeared in the doorway, off duty, holding a box. "I brought donuts," she announced. "Figure a bakery opening needs donuts, right?" Vivian laughed. "That's like bringing sand to the beach, Detective. Call me Sarah. We're friends now." Travis had cut a deal with the FBI. Full cooperation. Testimony against Marco and his entire operation. In exchange, probation instead of prison. Community service. A chance. He was taking classes now. Getting his GED. Learning to code. Building a legitimate life. It was strange. Hard. Terrifying. But it was real. Uncle Travis? A small voice. Vivian's neighbor's kid, who'd been hanging around the bakery for weeks. "Can you teach me how to fix cars?" Travis smiled. "Sure, kid. Come by the shop tomorrow." The kid ran off, excited. "Uncle Travis," Patricia repeated, smiling. "I like that." "Me too," Travis admitted. Hope stirred in his arms, making a small noise. Travis rocked her gently, naturally, like he'd been doing this his whole life. "You know what the crazy thing is?" Travis said quietly, "I went to that bank to scout it for a robbery. That's the only reason I was there. If I'd gone one day earlier or one day later, I would have never seen Vivian, never helped her. But you didn't go a day earlier or later, Patricia said. You went exactly when you needed to, when she needed you. Some people call that coincidence. I call it fate. What do you call it? Travis asked. Patricia smiled. Hope. 1 year later. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. Travis was under a Honda Civic, changing oil when his phone rang. It was Vivian. Did you check your mail today? She asked, breathless. Not yet. Why? Check it. Right now. I'll wait. Travis wiped his hands and walked to the small office at the back of the garage. There was an envelope, official looking, from the state of California. He opened it carefully. Dear Mr. Carter, we are pleased to inform you that your application for a full pardon has been approved. Based on your cooperation with law enforcement, your exemplary behavior during probation, and letters of support from community members, your criminal record will be sealed. Travis read the letter 3 times. Did you get it? Vivian asked on the phone. Yeah, Travis said, his voice thick. I got it. You're free, Travis. Really free. No more probation. No more checking in. Nothing. Travis sat down heavily. Free. After everything. After all his mistakes and bad choices and years of running. Free. There's more, Vivian said. Aunt Patricia wants to invest in your garage. Turn it into a full service center. She says you're good at this. Really good. She wants to help you build something. Vivian, I can't accept. Yes, you can. Family helps family. That's what we do now. That's who we are. Travis looked around his small garage. It wasn't much, but it was honest. It was his. Okay, he said. Tell her okay. I will. Oh, and Travis? Hope said her first word this morning. What was it? Vivian laughed. What do you think? She said, Trav. Not quite Travis yet, but close enough. She was looking at your picture when she said it. Travis felt tears in his eyes. Tell her Uncle Travis loves her. Tell her yourself. Come to dinner tonight. I'm making Grandma Victoria's meatloaf. The recipe Patricia gave me. I'll be there. Travis hung up and sat in his garage for a long moment, looking at his hands. The same hands that cracked safes and stolen things that didn't belong to him. Now they changed oil and fixed engines and held his niece. Same hands. Different purpose. Better purpose. He thought about that day at the bank. How close he'd come to walking away. How one decision, one choice to help a stranger, had changed everything. Vivian had been right that first day, even though she didn't know it. Sometimes the universe puts you exactly where you need to be. Sometimes you find your family in the last place you'd expect. And sometimes hope is born in the middle of humiliation, injustice, and pain. Travis Monroe had spent his life running from who he was. Now he was running toward who he could be. And for the first time in 28 years, he wasn't running alone. This story was about more than just a moment in a bank. It was about justice, about family, about second chances, about how one act of courage can change everything. If this story touched you, share it. Let others know that dignity matters, that standing up for people matters, that sometimes the person you save might save you right back. We all have choices to make. Be the person who speaks up. Be the person who helps. Be the person who gives others hope. Because you never know, that stranger you helped today might be family you didn't know you had. That's the power of justice. That's the power of love. That's the power of hope.